Bible Dictionary. It says, and under child, it says, this word has considerable latitude, meaning that it's quite wide, you can use it, of the meaning in Scripture. Thus, Joseph is called a child at the time when he was probably about 16 years. Yeah? And in Genesis, Benjamin's also called when he was about 30 years. You see? So, Solomon called himself little child when he came to the kingdom. Yeah? So this is not talking about child as in the child of the Lord. This is specifically the term child. Yeah? The descendants of a man, however remote, are called his children. Now this is a different definition, right? The children of Edom, the children of Israelites, right? That's another way. In the earliest times, mothers did not wean their children till they were 30 months to 3 years old. And the day on which they were weaned was kept at the festival. And this you find this in Genesis, Exodus. It talks about Moses instructed them. At the age of 5, children began to learn arts, duties of life under the care of their fathers. To have numerous family was regarded as a mark of divine favor, right? So clearly here we can see that the way child is defined varies. And I personally have no problems with that because I understand that this very thing, child, is not always tied in to biology. The time it starts to tie in with biology is in the modern time. Now what we tend to do, people of Scripture, we look back into Scripture with the mind of modern people. And this is what I wanted to read to you, yeah, before you come back, yeah? This is what I wanted to read to you, like very interesting, yeah? So childhood in early modern England, okay, this is like the 1500s and onwards. This is why this is so important. So throughout the course of the early modern period, child was split into multiplied sections. Adolescence, working and familiar jobs, education and sexual relation and marriage, right? Down, you fast forward, it goes in. Adolescence was a short-lived period in a child's life. Many historians debate this quick transition into adulthood. So this idea like you're a baby infant and then you're a child for a long time and then you become, it didn't exist. Even in the times, I've shown you this.
You're right.
I've shown you this here, and this is in Deuteronomy. Yeah, it talks about Deuteronomy here. It says in Deuteronomy, let me find this quickly. Sorry. Apologies.
Sorry.
Yeah. So the fathers. Okay, yeah. Children, the kingdom, descendants of man, however, Edom, regarded.
How do you know?
He was over yes, also the descendants of yeah. At the age of 5, children began to learn arts and duties of life under the care of the fathers. And you find this in 6:20-25.
Okay.
In the future, when your son asks you what is the meaning of the stipulation, decrees, and laws of law God has commanded you, tell him we were slaves to Pharaoh, Egypt, but the Lord, Before our eyes, Lord sent signs, wonders, great, terrible Egypt. But he brought us from there, gives us the land. The Lord commanded us to obey all the decrees so that we might also prosper. So, and we are careful to obey this law. So here, a young child, you're already teaching them very heavy subjects. Yeah? So,
Dawood, this is where you're missing the point.
Yeah.
When we say children, we're using that word, children,
Yeah.
Okay. So I will not use children. I will use too young.
Yeah, but what is too young?
Exactly.
What's too young?
That's what I said. When I said too young, and I put it in a category.
Yeah.
It wasn't me that said it.
Yeah.
Ibn Abbas said too young because they didn't have the message of because they are too young. Hold on. Ibn Abbas knows one thing. He knows that, okay, there's certain people that they cannot have menstruation because of their age.
Yeah.
That's why he used that because they are too young.
Yeah.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
Because people trying to say, okay, these people, this category is wide.
Yeah.
And he's trying to clarify that this one is talking about people that are too young. Every other person, you can marry them. So maybe, like I said, in those days, people used to marry younger girls, like Aisha, whatever. Then people want to know, because that's culture. That's not law before. It wasn't a law. It was just a cultural something. Then now that Allah now gives the law, they want to understand the law. Are we allowed to do this? They say yes, even the one that are too young to menstruate. Yeah. They are the one.
Yeah.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
So when I say too young has to be from 1.
But you're defining it.
No, I'm not defining it.
No, of
He
course.
said too
Ibn,
young. What I'm saying,
but
he
Ibn
said-
As didn't say from
He
one.
didn't say from one.
Yeah.
Okay. What I'm saying, he said too young.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, in order for you to be too young,
Yeah.
it has to be from the day you were born.
No, but that's you defining it,
So
respectfully.
if someone is not too young,
Yeah.
you cannot until you're born to this earth. We cannot start counting your days. It has to be the day that you're born.
No. If people say in America,
You cannot marry someone that's
In
that's
America-
in the womb.
no, but in someone in America,
Yeah.
in certain states, people are too young to get into clubs.
Yeah.
Meaning, before the age of 21, they can't get to clubs.
No. See.
Too young.
No, Dawood, you keep talking about law of America, government. We're talking about law of God.
No, but I'm talking about a principle. I'm not talking about the law
God's principle
itself.
is different from our principle.
No, but the principle of God still.
Because God knows better than us. Do you get it?
But I'm not arguing that.
Yeah.
What I'm saying to you is, I'm talking about a principle.
Yes.
I'm saying, if there's a law, even including the law of God,
Yes.
it has to be passed down to human beings.
Yes.
And human beings have to execute that law
Yeah.
in a humanly possible way.
Yes.
This is what I'm
But
saying.
God will not give us something that is not possible for us.
Of
to do.
course, of
Exactly.
course, of
So
course.
That's where the mistake is.
No, so from that point of view,
Yeah.
I can see clearly now
Yeah.
the fact that you're given age. You're saying,
I didn't
you're
give
say-
age.
No, you're saying one.
No, I said if we have to start, from too young,
Too young is very broad. In the English language, too young means it could mean many
it could
things.
mean many things.
Yeah.
Which I understand and I
Yeah.
agree with it.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying let's try and put
Yeah,
who can fit too young.
yeah,
Can 50-year-old fit too young?
no,
Can 1
Yeah.
year old fit too young?
yeah, no,
1 year old.
no.
Too
Because
young.
you 1 year old is not because a 1 year old.
Yes.
How can you even marry a 1 year old? Because
That means 1 year is too young then.
no. I'm saying 1 year is not even considered.
But it's too young, right?
No,
isn't
no,
it?
it's not considered.
No, don't say it's not considered.
No,
I'm asking-
because too young
Yeah.
means there is a consideration. Because if he's saying to you,
too young to do what? We didn't say
no, but
anything. We just-
it speaks too young specifically about menstruation.
marriage.
Menstruation.
About menstruation, okay,
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Okay.
So too young here, meaning they have to be even in consideration. We know that in the Quran,
Is 1 year old too young to menstruate or not?
huh?
Is 1 year old too young to menstruate or not?
They're not within that category.
But are they too young to menstruate?
No, but they have to be in a
But
category where there is
but there's some
possibility.
5, 6 years old that menstruate, yes or no?
5 years old, I don't know.
6 years old, yeah.
6 years old, yeah,
6
I know.
years old.
I've heard 6 years,
Yeah,
7,
is 6
and
years
9.
old too young to menstruate or not? Any 6-year-old that menstruates is not really normal. You know, right?
It's- it-
Biologically, it's not really something that is normal than 6
Let me check that. I don't know.
6-year-old, a lot of, there's only few 6-year-old that, not, I wouldn't say few, maybe because the
Yeah.
population, yeah, there's a lot probably, but normally 6 is a bit young to menstruate.
Again, I think we're talking about this topic and we don't know, we men, so
No, because the thing is this, yeah, they said if you're too young to menstruate,
Yeah.
that means you don't
so
have
they
to
say
menstruate.
most girls get it by the age of 10,
Do you get what
9.
I'm
Yeah,
saying? So
yeah,
6
yeah.
is too young normally,
Yeah.
yeah. So when it doesn't mean it doesn't happen. It does happen. But when we're talking about something that is not normal, it's not really normal for it to happen that way. So they know these things, and that's why they say too young. If 6-year-olds start menstruating today, even 2-year-olds start menstruating today, they're not gonna kill that baby. They will just say, oh, something
Yeah.
is wrong. Do you
Yeah.
get it?
But
But we'll say it's too young.
Yeah. Well, it depends because, for example, I remember reading this article. It's talking about how the age of menstruation has actually gone up now. So you see, it changes with the environment that we're in, right? And the article is talking about like how some experts say that puberty starts with 5 years old for some people.
Probably is okay. What you
Yeah.
just said now even helped my argument. It's longer now. That's what you're saying. That
No,
people-
it's gone up.
It's gone up now.
Yeah.
Okay, so before they used to get it younger,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
earlier.
yeah.
So imagine, let's say 10. They said probably 10 now. That's what they said. So imagine
Like
then,
12 now.
Like 12 now.
Yeah.
So imagine back then, 700 years ago, they used to get it at 7.
Yeah.
So imagine people that don't get it. That means they are lesser than 7 then. Then.
Again, I
You
can't. No. I mean, this
I'm not
is.
saying it's gonna. I'm not
Yeah,
saying
I
it's
mean,
what you're
it's a
saying,
logical conclusion that
Do
you're
you get it?
making.
No, because you said,
Yeah.
people said now it's longer. So let's say shorter then, they used to get it as early as 7.
No, yeah.
So if they used to get it as early as 7 then, that means the one that are too young, they will consider too young then. Because if it's something that is normal that people are getting at 7, then that
Yeah.
means people are 5 years old, 4 years old, they don't get it then. That means that's the people they're talking about, they're too young.
I don't know. I'm not really convinced by that.
Yeah, but I'm just
No, I'm
saying
not-
that
I mean, I'm
if
not-
you have to go with what you said, that's what I'm saying. If you have to go
Yeah,
with
but
that,
there's
not
sometimes
sure. We're not sure.
We're not sure because it's very
if
again.
you have to go
Yeah,
with
we.
that, that's what we
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say. We're commenting on something that kind of.
So,
We need a bit more research on
this is
that.
what I'm trying,
Yeah.
The only thing I'm trying to point out here is this. Say, for example, what you said is, it's true. The law is for us
Because remember,
to interpret
the way.
with whatever that's
Yeah.
happening today.
Yeah.
Okay, see, this is not the thing. Yeah? So that law
Yeah.
says the reason why you're saying is because we shouldn't do something that's going to affect us. So now that we know that sleeping with a child, we should interpret that law as don't marry someone at 6, as young as 6, don't sleep with them. We should interpret it that way, right? So that means, okay. But let me now tell you this.
Yeah.
Do you know what will happen in future if we have to do this? There's a lot of law that's going to be changed in Quran. For example, what was the reason why people stopped drinking alcohol in Islam?
Why the reason why?
Yeah, they used to drink it.
Yeah.
People used to go to mosque
Yeah.
and pray.
Because Allah says there's more harm than there's benefits in it.
Okay, now. But now, in this day and age, because then they said, oh, people start drinking and they will go and pray, they will forget.
Yeah.
So if I can control my alcohol, if people say, okay, you can control alcohol, can we drink alcohol now? Can we change the law? So far we can control
Yeah,
it.
but you see, that thing is a bit more. It's a bit more concrete.
Why?
Because it specifically talks about, no one can get confused.
I get it.
It's very concrete. It says, don't consume.
Because of a reason.
Yeah, and it's concrete. It's more concrete.
But if you can take the reason out of it, can we drink it? Because now the reason why people don't want to sleep with a child now, they are saying is because it's not good. They are taking it, but which I believe that back then it's not good either.
But I think it's just things like, this is what I say. I think sometimes when I have this conversation with people, I understand the concern, but then I'm like, I think we're losing so much nuance here. And this is even like, this goes even to the brothers who kind of like defend this idea of like that Aisha was married at 6 years old.
It's the truth, because that's the only thing that is there out there. If you have
Well, it's not
something
the only
different,
thing that's out there.
that she's what? That she's 6 when she was 6 and 9.
No, but I mean, there's other ideas out there
I'm
amongst the
talking
Muslims.
about the evidence.
Evidences.
The evidence that we have is 6 and 9.
No, but there's other evidences that say that she was older as well.
But all those evidence are not something that Muslims accept.
No, but you see, when you say Muslims,
Yeah.
you're talking about
Sunni
a
Muslim, you're
lot.
Sunni.
Yeah,
So
but you're talking about a lot of
But
people.
Sunni Muslim.
Yeah, and
the evidence that people
Yeah.
use Sunni accept is
the thing is, I don't want to be looking like I'm being put on the back foot as if I'm trying to like get away from the idea that she was 6 years old. I am trying to talk about this in the most nuanced way possible. I'm trying to consider the idea of childhood. I've demonstrated that in the Bible, the way child is described varies. And it varies according to the context. Yeah. Sometimes you're a child when you're 30, sometimes you're a child when you're 15.
That's why I changed it to too young. That's why I changed it to too young.
Okay, but that's what I'm trying to say. But fundamentally, we're talking here about the idea of childhood. This is what we're talking about.
No. We're talking about someone that is too young.
No, but
to menstruate.
No, but we're talking about, let me tell you why we're talking about the idea of childhood. Yeah. Because when you brought the verse in, there was a beautiful verse about the transformation. Ezekiel. Yeah. When you brought up Ezekiel, you were bringing this up because you were saying, look, here the Bible is detailing the process from being suckled to having breast and finding love, right? Yeah. So this is the point I'm trying to make. Yeah. Like, we're talking here fundamentally about that. The idea of like, how do human beings perceive and grow? What is the cycle? Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to say to you is that because of that, it's very tricky to then start to define certain things. Because even when you say too young, look, if I read this again, it says, look, the verse in the Quran about menstruation, it says, what does that mean? They may have not menstruated. It's not just one word that they're using.
Yes,
they use the sentences, many sentences.
Different reasons.
Yeah.
It could be because they are sick.
Yeah.
But forget about those ones. The only one I'm concentrating about is the one that are too young.
Okay.
But that category, that's the one I'm talking about.
But I would say, I would connect the too young to delayed menstruation.
No, you can't say delay.
Yeah, delayed. I think it's together. In that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm still talking about.
That's my interpretation of it.
But I'm still talking about the one that are too young, which, like we said, 5-year-old is too young to menstruate.
Yeah.
If you ask any doctor today, they will say 5 years old is too young to menstruate. You get it? That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And when Quran says something like this, that's like an open book for you.
But when you say 5 years is too young to menstruate today, you see, it's very slippery. I've just told you, and I can try to find the article about.
Yeah, but what you said, if you analyze it, if you try to use it, it helps my argument. Like I said, too young is still. See, okay, don't forget something.
Yeah.
Remember, I showed you something in the Bible, in Leviticus.
Yeah.
That's like 1,000 years before Muhammad.
Yeah.
When God was describing 1 to 5, so the understanding is already there. We know what 1 to 5 is, even if we don't have the details. But we know what 1 to 5. The reason why God is talking about 1 to 5, 5 to 20, 20 to 60.
Yeah.
And if we have to apply that thing to now, it still makes sense to us. To today, if say okay, for example, if you're traveling, you don't pay the same thing for your child. If you have a 3-year-old, maybe it's free. If it's 16, maybe you pay fare. Do you get it?
Yeah.
So see, the same thing God was doing, that if you're going to pay offering for this one, pay this less amount for this 1 to 5, pay this for this.
Yeah.
The same thing, we're still using it today. Do you get it? So it makes sense. So
But
we should not try and say, oh,
No, but you see, when you say too young as well, and remember what I was saying about the verse, the entire verse. That's why we read the entire verse. The beginning of the verse, at the beginning, it says woman, Anisa. And when you define Anisa, the idea of infancy, the idea of like, for the lack of a better term, because child is kind of tricky, but for the lack of the term, all of these things are divorced. That's what I was saying to you. When they say too young, it has to be within the consideration. Now, the way woman and Nisa are defined, I think this is where the conversation should go. How do you define a woman? How do you define a young woman? How do you find a woman that is too young to have menstruation?
Ibn Abbas already clarified that for us. Because they went to ask him. Do you know there's a reason why?
Can you look for that?
Okay, I've got the tafsir here. That's the reason why that's the thing. He already clarified it. Because I'm sure those people, the one of. Okay, this is it. Ibn Abbas. Hey, this is it. That's the tafsir.
Okay, I'm going to read it, yeah? That's cool.
Yeah, or should I go on the Quran that side, then we read it from that?
I mean, yeah, you can read this as well.
This one is, because I have to be, I don't know. Can you read it?
Yeah.
My eyes, okay.
Okay. And for such of your woman as despair of menstruation because of old age, if doubt about the waiting period, the waiting period shall be 3 months, upon which another man asked, O Messenger of Allah, what about the waiting period of those who do not have menstruation because they are too young, along with those who have not because of young age, their waiting period is 3 months. Another man asked, what is the waiting period?
Do you hear what I said? He said because they are too young.
Yeah. But what does it mean? What does it mean?
Yeah, but he said if you are too young to menstruate, that's why I said because they are too young to menstruate. Do you get it?
Yeah.
So that's what he says. So if someone is too young to menstruate, this is a law. So forget about what anybody says. Allah give us permission to marry someone, have sex with someone that is too young to menstruate. Who is American government to tell me I cannot do that? Who is British government to tell me not to do that? If God says that, and the law is forever, God knows what's going to happen then, what's happening then, and what's going to happen now. So if God is saying that this is my law, you can marry someone that is too young to menstruate, sleep with them, the law is forever.
Yeah.
Unless if you're saying to me that Allah give us room to change His law.
I'm not even saying that. I'm saying that the interpretation that you are giving
is
is.
Not me. It's Ibn Abbas, not me.
But Ibn Abbas hasn't. I mean, if Ibn Abbas was like, well, when they're 1, 2, 3 years old, too young, it's just too vague. I don't think you can rest upon it. It's still very vague.
This is the thing. If you have to go with evidence that we have, unless if you have something different,
I'm gonna have to investigate that.
Investigate.
Yeah.
And this is the reason why. You know, Ali Dawa said something one time.
Yeah.
If his daughter is, I don't know, the age,
therefore
6 or 9,
he
said, I will tell her that you're ready. That's why he said it.
Yeah, I think he was saying that sort of in the heat of the moment.
No. He said, I will say yes, you're ready, unless if he's lying, and I don't see the reason why he will lie.
Yeah,
and the thing is,
I can't speak for the man.
I can't speak for him as well.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I'm talking about the video. But if we have to go about the evidence that we see, we have Muhammad married someone that's 6 and 9.
Yeah.
He consummated. So these things, all these things, he actually he supports all these things that we're saying. There is no more then, in which they believe that it's going to be like that forever. Law of God should not be changed.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be changed. That's my own.
Yeah.
People should own it. If I'm a Muslim, and I will say yes, and I will own it. If you cannot own it, that means you're saying, this is the thing about Muslim. This is what I'm saying. If you cannot own it, that means you're disagreeing with Allah.
Yeah.
I don't care whatever anybody says. I always say something that if God says, kill someone. If it's from God,
Yeah.
I'll kill.
But
So
you
far
see,
it's from God.
but why? You see, in the entire verse again, and I have to go back. The entire verse, if you think about this, it does not mention the word child or children. It doesn't mention that because there are mention of children. Yeah, there's mention of children in the Quran, and there's a differentiation between the mother breastfeeding. So that's a clear distinction. I think what happens here is that it's a interpolation, as in people reading into it. It's the same way when you hear the voice too young, why does it exclusively mean infant? Why does it exclusively mean that?
Because that's what it means.
No,
'Cause that's why it starts from being infant.
No, but today when we refer to someone being too young, it doesn't mean they have to be 5 years old.
No, it doesn't have to be, but we can consider them as too young as well. We don't have to mention it, but we know that yes, they're too young.
No, but this could vary anything. My thing is this: why is it exclusively? Because if you were to say, well, you know what, too young could mean infant, but I do see also it could mean maybe something older than that. It could be.
But maybe this is what you're missing. What I'm trying to say is this: if someone, a Muslim, say today, I want to marry a 6-year-old, a 9-year-old, a 9-year-old, 8-year-old,
Yeah.
why will it be considered a sin? Because if you're saying I'm going by what Quran says, it shouldn't be considered a sin. That's
The
what I'm saying.
Quran makes it categorically clear that you ought to marry nisa, woman. Whatever is considered woman, that's what you marry. That's the category.
So if what you're saying is true, so are you saying Aisha was considered a woman at the time of Muhammad, 6-year-old? Is that what you're saying? She was considered.
She was married off.
Was she considered a woman?
When I say marriage, I'm talking about consummation as well.
Yeah, at 9
Yeah.
years old, was she considered a woman at 9 years old?
In that society, she
In the
was.
society, no, I'm talking about God. When it comes to God,
Yeah.
not society.
Yeah.
So 9-year-old then.
She was not considered itfal. Itfal means child. Like
Yeah, 9 years old.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm not trying to say to you. If 9 years old at the time of Muhammad was considered a woman, at that time,
Yeah.
with evidence that we have before in Bible, which is 1,000 years before,
Yeah.
we know that 9 years old cannot be considered as a woman with the evidence that we have before Quran.
No, but you're going to the Quran.
No, you're not getting history. I'm talking about history.
Okay, no, but we're talking about the verse. Look, we've been talking about Surah.
Reality. I'm talking about reality.
I understand, but we're talking about Surah Talaq.
Yes.
And you said, look, in Surah Talaq,
Yeah.
this verse is basically allowing people to marry children.
They are too young to menstruate.
Yeah,
Not
children.
me. I didn't say that. I said that's what Ibn Abbas said.
No, but Ibn Abbas just says too young. That's vague.
Yeah, he said too young.
It's vague.
So
It's very
we're not
vague.
saying-
It's very
no,
vague.
We're not trying to clarify what too young is.
Because
Who
you-
fits in that category?
Because he could have just said itfal. He could have just said children. They didn't say that. The surah at the beginning, within the surah, talks in particular about An-Nisa.
See,
So
Dawood, I
you
get-
have to read it contextually.
Dawood, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I think. Okay. Anyway, what I'm trying
Yeah.
to say is this: the God of Israel,
Yeah.
the one I'm talking about Yahweh. We know these things. Like I said, when I showed you Leviticus, I showed you when Jesus Christ said a girl, or when he went to pray for a girl, they said she's 12 years old. When in Ezekiel, when God described marriage, I showed you these things for a reason. The reason why I showed
You don't show me the verse of the 12-year-old. We were waiting for this. I was waiting for that.
Okay, I want to go pray, Habib.
Yeah, I'm coming.
Okay, it's in Mark 5:41 to 2. Mark 5:41 to 2. It's called a little girl.
Yeah.
You sorry?
Sorry. Was it?
Mark
Jabi, last one. Mark
5:41
5:41
to 42.
to 42. Okay. Okay. He took her. Sorry, just give me a second. So I'm gonna check something quickly. Oh man. Big apologies. Big apologies. Almost there. I just want to check something quickly. Okay, okay. Itfal. Slip's sake. Okay, sorry, apologies. Sorry. Okay, so it's Mark. Yeah. Okay, he took her by the hand and said, Talitha. Talitha kum, which is it's the same word for child in Arabic.
See?
Yeah,
Okay.
which means little girl. I say to you.
It says little girl, right? Which
Yeah.
means little girl.
Yeah. I say to you, get up. Immediately the girl stood up and began to walk around. She was 12 years old. And these days were completely astonished.
You say 12 years old. They consider a 12 years old a little girl.
Yeah.
700 years before. No. This is Mark. Like 500 years before Muhammad.
But this was maybe because she wasn't married.
She wasn't married.
Yeah, maybe because she wasn't married. Maybe they would have addressed her differently if she was married.
Okay.
Because can we say that all 12
But
years
you
old?
just said it's the same thing that you call a child in Arabic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 12 years old. Whether you're ready to marry or not, at 12, they won't call you a child.
No, but it depends. Sometimes titles are ascribed to
Okay.
your marital.
See, Dawood, what I'm trying to say is this.
Yeah.
Forget about. I'm trying to show that the God that Bible portrays is different from the God that Quran portrays.
Yeah.
Do you get it? We
Yeah.
have two different gods.
Yeah.
Our God is different from God of Islam. That's what I'm trying
Yeah,
to say.
yeah.
Because if this is the same God, things will not be this different. There's a lot of things that are not the same when it comes to Bible and Quran.
Yeah.
Like you people, the way you're considering a child is different from the way we consider a child.
No, but really, what about numbers then? I didn't want to. See, I
What
don't
do
like going
numbers?
this. You know about numbers when.
Let's go for part 2 next week.
Yeah, the last one. Yeah, because I have to. What about numbers when it talks about kill all the thingy, and then take the children for yourselves?
Okay, I've said it into Haman. Let me get you.
Yeah.
Take them for yourself for what?
What do you do with
Hold on.
what do you do with Obutu
Kill all the women and what?
and the fathers?
What about the goats? What about the goats and everything?
What do you mean?
They said the booty of the thing.
Yeah, let me read it here. It said,
Yeah. But
Now-
the thing is this,
Yeah.
Do people sleep with goats?
no, of
They
course
say
not.
enjoy them, right? That's why it says they enjoy.
And now therefore kill every male among the little ones.
Yes.
Tough. Look at this. Why they killing the young man?
Continue what you're saying.
Yeah, and kill every woman that have not man by lying with him. Meaning, all the
Probably virgins,
used one, yeah, but all the female children, tough,
Yeah.
that have known a man by lying with him, keep them alive for yourself.
Who said
Look,
that?
huh?
Who said that first? It was Moses.
Yeah, it's the numbers.
Yeah, it was Moses that said it. So
Yeah.
what's the point?
No.
That's not law.
No.
From God. That's Moses.
No,
That's
but,
one.
but God's, Moses, Jesus, Abraham. The same way you're saying to me, well, he's a prophet. He should know better.
Yeah, you should
Moses.
know better. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ condemned Moses.
No, what? That's a different
Wait, hold
conversation.
on.
now.
I'm trying to tell you. Yeah. Do you know what the Old Testament is for? Old Testament is to show us that the law cannot save us. The law that God gave us cannot save us. It cannot make us righteous. So the law is not helping anyone in the Old Testament. It's just to show us that we are.
Okay,
sinner.
but basically what I'm trying to say
So-
to this is you have clearly there.
Yeah. Where Moses was telling them to. Keep
Yeah, so and it says in reference to don't.
But he didn't say they should sleep with them.
No, but it's in reference because it says, look, it's in reference, it's referential.
Yeah.
Because it says here, but all females that have not a man.
Yes.
Be like, so it
But
said,
do you know why he said the ones that they've not bad men? Because of what those people did before. The reason why they went to attack them, they said they're corrupt.
that
So
might
the one
be,
that
okay,
they
we're
said,
gonna have to, we have to
let's
do
do it
this.
next week. Let's do it next week. Let's do it next week. Let's do it next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about this now.
I'll call.
With Klarna, you can pay over time, interest-free, for all your baby essentials.